And we're back. Andrew Robles here, building what matters. Today we have a guest, Stephanie Gutierrez, investor, realtor, ADU strategist. So that's very exciting. Founder of ADUGGinvestments.org. So great to have you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me and for, allowing me to come all the way out here and schedule the podcast and do it. I think you and I have a lot of synergy because we're both in similar spaces, right? And we kind of just we align in that. So I'm excited for this episode.
The irony is we're both from Los Angeles, but our first meeting was in Florida.
In Florida.
So that was cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And just for, for context, people who don't know, we both are exactly what he said. We're based out of LA, but we service really from coast to coast, right?
Yes.
And when you reached out, or I reached out on Instagram, that kind of caught my attention. I was like, oh my God, there's somebody else like me. We're trying to do business in LA and Florida.
Yes. Florida's exciting. And for me, it was just at this time last year, it was something that I had talked about. And the person that actually gave me the idea, do you know Kevin Brown, Cam Power?
No.
He's electrical. So
Okay.
he does electro. He was the one that gave me the idea about Florida. I ran with it and decided, you know what? I don't want to just, I don't want to use somebody else's license. I'm going to get my own license. So fast forward, got my license in Florida. It's exciting with what's going on out there. And most importantly is, California is already pretty, it's a growing market in the ADUs here. It's definitely a thing that most developers add on to their business plan. But in regards to Florida, tell me about that, because I know that you're a pioneer out there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a huge ADU advocate, and my goal is to become an advocate nationwide. I started looking at other states that I could expand my business to, and Florida just kept coming up because, like I was telling you guys offline, a non-negotiable for me is to be near water and live near the beach. So why not service, each coast? Like I service Southern California. I started tapping into Florida market. I got my real estate license in Florida and just kind of started thinking 2-3 steps ahead because as you said, California has kind of already paved the way for ADUs, just like Oregon, Washington. And now I see the opportunity in states like Florida, Massachusetts. There's a couple other ones, Colorado, the Carolinas. There's a lot of movement around ADUs because it solves so many different issues, right? Affordability, housing, generational wealth. It really helps you offset expenses, but we're not quite there in Florida. And so, my intention in positioning myself as an ADU advocate out there is so that we are kind of one of the first ones to start building out there.
Yeah.
So I did the ADU mastermind, which one of your partners went out there. Mike was out there. I got to meet him. We connected and we hit it off well. And I hadn't met you yet, but just the power of networking, right? You sent him over. I met him in person. Then I met you in person, and we hit it off well.
You met Annalise.
I met Annalise.
You've met my team. A lot of people went, yeah.
Yeah, now I consider myself part of the team because one of the first things that I started doing when I became an ADU strategist here in California, prior to this, I was doing real estate for over 10 years, right? So I was helping a lot of investors, and these investors had the same questions. Well, what can I do with my lot? What can I do with the garage? What can I build back here? And I didn't know anything about anything. Like, I did not know even how to submit plans, what ADU meant. Started surrounding myself with the right people, like Andrew, who's a friend that we have in common. He's been a great mentor. But what I did was I started doing ADU meetups all through Southern California, and that's what helped me build my network here. Yeah. So, you set up an ADU meetup, and architects come to you, developers come to you, other brokers, people who are interested in the space. So my intention is to kind of carry those same basics out in Florida and start doing ADU meetups. Now, the term ADU isn't as, common out there, so we have to kind of get creative with the messaging. But ultimately, the strategy is the same. How can we build highest and best so that it helps us offset other expenses? And, for savvy investors, underwrite this as part of your strategy,
Yeah,
in
yeah.
places like Florida.
They would take an appraised value, for example, of 8 apartments, and now
Hmm.
it's 10 or now it's 12.
Exactly.
So, there's a current project here in California where I'm gonna sign a contract on, and we're gonna be building an additional 6 ADUs on the
Nice.
back.
Is that with SB 1211?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I, the other thing that I love about California is there's really no other state doing it like we are. Even Washington and Oregon, right? As far
Yeah.
as multifamily ADU laws, I mean, California is really kind of setting that tone and the example of what could be done when you allow for ADUs to be utilized. With SB 1211, you can now add up to 8 detached ADUs as long as there's an 8 unit building,
Wow.
right?
So yeah.
So that's great. And in some creative ways, let's say there's 3 different parcels, you could do up to 8 units on each parcel. So that's just another hack on top of a hack,
A hack on top of that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And bill stacking. So
Yeah.
I've really been tapping into the legislative side here in California. And I want to take that same, principle out to Florida. Now, Florida they recently passed, as you know, like an ADU ordinance or an ADU law requiring states to have an ADU or requiring local municipalities and local cities to have some sort of ADU ordinance. But it's Florida, it's like a
Yeah.
free for all. So it's not like California where we have state law that allows you to build. It already states what's allowed. You don't have to argue with cities. And if you do, you have HCD to support you, right? If
Mhm.
cities aren't doing what they're supposed to. In Florida, we don't really have something like that. So I think it's a great opportunity to be able to build some sort of coalition to advocate for ADU movement out there because it's needed. Definitely 100%.
Yeah, Florida definitely with Florida is the multifamily when you're doing whether it's an ADU, it's going to be a full-blown package because of the
Right.
weather. We're talking structural retrofit, we're talking retrofitting windows. I know that they have issues with concrete because it's kind of like the wild, wild west out there, which
Right.
is part of the reason why I got my license, where, you got contractors that are trying to save money, cutting corners. You got brand new buildings that already have waterproofing issues. They're not mixing the concrete correct. So that's part of the reason why I got my
Mm,
contractor's license in Florida. And
got it.
I had felt some resistance. I had known, I remember I had met with one contractor, retired GC, and he said, how are you going to get business out here? Your pretty face? And that comment obviously
Got to
pissed
you.
me off.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, okay. And I said, no, I said, that's part of it.
Right.
I was a little smart ass back with him.
The other
But
part is I'm gonna deliver good quality product,
exactly,
right? Yeah.
exactly. So it's good to know that, I look forward to taking Foundational Builders Corp to Florida, building a solid reputation, showing that we deliver. And I think with the team that I have there, guys like Mike, Nelly, Annalise,
Right.
those are like good quality people. And
Yeah.
I'm actually bringing them here.
Oh, that's
So I'm
awesome.
bringing them here probably within the next week or two, which I think is more valuable than me going there.
Right.
And I'm going to have them shadow me on these 3 new projects that we have just to
That's
create
awesome.
that synergy, then go back out there.
That's perfect.
Because, yeah. So,
And proof of concept, right?
yeah.
If you show them
Yeah.
what's possible here. I just did an SB9 ADU open house in Long Beach on one of our projects that we're in the process of doing, and just showcasing like what's allowed, what we're doing in California that could be done in Florida. But it's until you see it and you take Annalise around the site and kind of show them, what drives up costs, what are things we should consider, what is like things supposed to look like, what is a product of good quality, what are the finishes supposed to feel
Yeah.
like, and honestly, we're gonna kick butt in Florida because all you have to do is deliver good quality product. Like I noticed that the infrastructure sucks and the quality of the product, but also the talent of the people is hard to find.
Yeah.
And that I think it's across the board in any field. Yesterday
Yeah.
I was at BizNow and they were talking about like what is something that multifamily people are struggling with right now, and it's property management. And a lot of it is like finding good property managers, good
Mm.
talent with like low turnover rates, because most people just don't want to work. And I
Yeah.
think, especially in places like Miami, like I don't see customer service at all in many places, right? I mean, and it sucks because I'm comparing it to LA, right? But I'm like, it's going to be easy to stand out here because all you have to do is deliver good product and give good customer service, and you'll definitely stand out and get good quality clients as well,
Yeah.
because I'm a big believer in that. So I'm excited for us to collaborate on that, because you looking at it from the construction perspective on the product and
Yeah.
like delivering good product, and me on the advocating of it, right? So having
Hmm.
people like Annalise and Mike talk about it and like showcase what's working here, and then show them around here, and then they go
Yeah.
back to Florida and talk about it to
That's gonna be good.
everybody, right? So that'll
So,
be good.
so you're a homeowner. That's for the
Right.
listeners, and you have a piece of property. You have some, you have maybe 800 square feet. What's your advice to them, a single family owner trying to build an ADU, maybe for income purposes? How do they get started?
Financing. A lot of people may say, "Well, start off with the design, start off with the motivation on why you're doing it." Motivation's important. That's going to drive up, other factors in decision making, but the biggest one is financing. How are you going to fund this project? So
Mm.
I tell my clients, let's start off there. If it's a typical homeowner, right now homeowners have a lot of equity that they can tap into. So that's probably the best way to finance their ADU,
Mm-hmm.
because most people don't have 150 to 250,000 laying around, or just
Yeah.
in savings.
Yeah. Yeah.
Inflation will eat it up even if they did.
Yeah.
So then the question is, well, how do I tap into this equity? And so that's kind of what I help them with. And so when I say I'm an ADU strategist, I'm looking at every aspect of the
So the
process, the
financing, the
financing,
planning.
the planning, everything, from start to finish. And even after the project is done, I also help with the property management. So securing a tenant, whether it's, placing a tenant or actually managing the unit, because I think we're going to see a huge like wave of homeowners, typical homeowners who really don't know how to manage a property. A
Mm.
lot of people are building them and they're doing it for the right reasons, because they want it to either help offset their mortgage, create more income, just have additional income
Yeah.
to help them offset other expenses, but they don't realize what comes with being a homeowner slash landlord now. And you're a landlord with a tenant living behind you, right?
Yeah.
So how do you handle work orders, maintenance requests, lease agreements? You don't think about these
Yeah.
things, right? But now you have that hat on. So are you going to do all of that, or are you willing to pay somebody 7 to 10% a month of the monthly rent, and have that person kind of streamline the process for you? So my goal is to help an investor or a homeowner from start to finish. So let's figure out the financing. Let's start there. Okay, what are we working with financing? If it's 200,000, all right. So now let's look at the property. Let's do a
Mm-hmm.
feasibility. What's allowed? And what's the purpose? Now we can talk about why you want to build it. Is it for rental? Okay, well maybe we want to do a 2-2, maximize it, or a 3-2. But sometimes even maximizing may not be the best approach for that specific neighborhood. Maybe that neighborhood calls for more 2-bedroom units, and
Mm-hmm.
that's like the preferred rental market for that specific area. The one we did in Long Beach, we did two 1,200 square foot ADUs in the back, and those are going to be renting out for like 3,500. They just wanted to maximize it for rental purposes. Some people may want to do it for family members. Maybe they don't want to go that big. They
Yeah.
just want like a studio or a 1 bedroom. So we talk about that. And then we also take that into consideration and think about the product itself, right?
Mm.
Like the types of finishes, and do we want to go high end? Do we want to customize? It all depends on what you want to do. And I try to make sure that they think not just short term, but long term.
Mm.
If it's a rental, I would still go with some durable
Yeah.
finishes, because maybe it's a rental right now, but later in the future, it could be, for assisted living for your
For
parents,
in-laws. Yeah.
in-laws,
Yeah. That's what
it
I'm
could
seeing.
be for many different purposes. But I think for homeowners, it's a great strategy. This year, I'm going to focus a lot more on SB 1211, SB 1123, SB 9s, a little bit more high level strategies where we're building multiple ADUs on a site.
So that's my question.
Yeah.
So for the developer, because I have that client, he's trying to figure out what's more valuable, the ADUs or the parking. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, where is it? What area?
It's in LA, like near
LA.
Metro.
I'd say screw the parking.
Screw the parking,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Build the ADUs.
Yeah, now if you're talking a small little pocket like Lakewood or even here in Beverly Hills, maybe be considerate about parking. But in metro areas like that, I mean, now you have SB 79. They don't care about parking, right? SB 79 just passed, and you can build up to 9 stories. I think 6 to 9 stories.
Wow.
It's going to be crazy. And there no parking, right? So yeah, I would say screw parking. It all depends on location, but I always tell clients be mindful of parking. If someone wants to convert their garage, building up top is always going to be a little bit more, right? Because you've got to get the garage reinforced.
Yeah.
A lot of these garages are old already, so you're most likely going to spend a lot to be able to build on top. But if you have the option to do it, do it. So that way you can keep integrity of the garage and maybe have higher premium rents, because you're offering parking. But not everybody has that option. They're looking for the most effective, cheapest option. You know how it is.
Yeah. The most, I know these
In
owners.
Spanish, it's bueno, bonito, y barato. Like cheap, easy, and, quick. It's like most of the time, those 3 things are going to cost you a lot more in the long run. So cutting corners is also not the best way to go either. So thinking, and it's a lot of educating clients on long term, and not just the short run. A lot of investors think of like, well, what's the ARV going to be in 12 months? And they want that immediate return in 12 months. It's like, no, look at this at a 5 to 10 year run, because ADUs are not a flip strategy. They're a long term play.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Good to hear. So here in LA, you have a good construction team, obviously, for
so I partner up with different contractors because clients I found just are different phases depending on where they're at. I like to offer my services as a strategist and a consultant, and I'll help you no matter where you're at in the journey. So maybe you already have an architect and you need a contractor. Okay, I'll refer you to one depending on the area, right? I'm assuming you like to focus on a specific area in SoCal. I mean, you'll go anywhere, but we all have our desired areas. For me, it's Orange County. I don't really come all the way out here, but if I did, I send it out to Andrew. Anything in, now this area, I send it to you, because now you're kind of like my go-to GC in this area. Sometimes they may have their contractor already, their family friend contractor, which go for it, but don't call me later.
Don't call me later,
I
get it.
So then in that sense, okay, well, you already have a contractor. Well, here's an architect. Or you want to design and build. You don't have anyone and you kind of want somebody to walk you through the process. All right, well, here's 2. I usually work with 2 or 3 at a time that I've vetted. ADU West Coast out of Seal Beach is who I do most of my projects with. And then I also do a lot of the real estate consulting, so a lot of investors come and work with me because they know that I know the legislative climate with ADUs. I know the strategies, and then we kind of just go with that. And so I can consult throughout the whole project. They don't even have to work with my architect and contractor. I can just be like that transaction coordinator every month until the project is done type of thing.
Very nice.
Yeah. And that's, I feel like, an avenue I've created for myself, because I'm, not being biased towards anyone. Like, you just pay me for my time and my knowledge, and I'll show you what's highest and best for your specific project on what I'm seeing that's working in today's market.
I agree 100%. ADUs is a great niche, great market. So pivoting from that, what else do you do when you're here in California?
Well, surfing. I was talking to the team here offline. I enjoy surfing. I just got certified as an ocean healing therapist. So I'll be offering a lot of ocean healing sessions for women in business, Also for teens, because I have a teenager, preteen.
Yeah.
So doing a lot of like breath work, sound baths. I'm having something like that on Saturday. So
Super cool.
I'll be speaking to a lot of women in business and, how do we juggle it all? Because I work from home, I homeschool my son, I have my partner, like we just all are work from home. So how do you realistically like run a business like that
Yeah.
while trying to also be a mom,
Yeah.
And so I kind of just want to showcase what's worked for me. Being near the water helps. So I try to give myself that time every morning. You see me when I'm out in Florida, I'm biking to the beach. If I'm here, I'm surfing at the beach. Like I'm just near water, which helps me calm my nervous system. I give myself that time of the day, and then the rest of the day, I can take on tough conversations. I can put out fires all day while I'm juggling also being a mom, being present, and not feeling overwhelmed as a business owner. And
Very
I
nice.
think even men go through that too. But I think as women, we're so emotional. And so it's like, how do we carry the feminine and the masculine energy and know when to use which one. Like at home with my son and my partner, I'm very feminine. You see me, I like to cook too. So yeah, I carry that. But then when it comes to business, you kind of have to be
Especially
emotionless.
construction.
100%. I mean, you know this.
You can't be nice.
No.
They'll eat you alive.
You have to be very firm. You have to be very confident in what you say, what you do, how you move. And it's taking years. And I still struggle with a lot of this. I still get anxiety here and there. I still struggle with, am I being like the right mom? Am I being the right business owner? Am I making the right choices? It's uncertainty, right? Like fear. But I believe in my skill set. Like I know no matter what, I'll always be doing something to help me be a better person, which will then just create more opportunities for myself. But it starts with you, so these ocean healing therapy sessions are cool because they somehow integrate with real estate and business, and that was kind of like my goal. Like I want to do something that helps women in business that has nothing to do with real estate, but has helped me in real estate. You know what I mean?
That's good.
Like being out in nature, it's those little like rituals and habits that help you succeed in business.
Yes.
And I work with a lot of men, and I grew up with brothers. So I think I have an advantage there, but I also see how women just, sometimes get led by emotion in business.
Speaking of women, the thing about foundational builders, you may have noticed, is we've been known for having a lot of women
I love that.
working in our company, people that you wouldn't think are in construction.
I love that.
Right?
Yeah.
Even my Florida team, Nelly, Annalise. Like we've had, I've always, my two sisters I've always felt like female project managers.
Yes.
Were really good.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that I've implemented.
Right.
And their attention to detail, their
customer service,
documentation, right? If it's a daily report or if it's a change order, it's getting written out that same day.
Right.
It's not getting sent out 3 weeks later.
Exactly. Yeah.
So also, I think, with the owners, the owners kind of like it as well.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of my project managers have been really on top. And not only are they on top of the project, but they're also on top of me as well.
That's great.
It's like, hey, don't forget this. Don't forget that.
Right.
Hey, don't forget this. So that's something that I definitely, that's one thing that Foundational Builders is really good at is
embracing women
in construction.
I love that because we don't get a lot of the credit that I think we deserve in the space. And sometimes we're mostly seen like behind the scenes, right? Like you said, the project manager, doing any admin work, working behind the scenes in podcasting, but you don't get that credit of like, wow, we're making this happen. We're part of the team as well, right? They look at the subs or the people actually building it, but it's like, okay, that's one part of the aspect of construction. But the other aspect is systems, processes, what makes everything streamlined.
Yeah.
And I feel like as women, we do. Like, we're able to multitask. I remember when Alex was small, I'd have him at an open house. I'd be carrying him with the phone and holding up the open house signs and doing like a million things. And that's just, I think comes naturally for women, whereas for men, I'm telling you, I grew up around brothers and I work with a lot of men.
If there were no women, these men at the end of the day,
Oh man,
they're cavemen.
and they'd be going at each other with ego.
Yeah,
You know, they just be
no.
fighting.
These guys don't know how to use Excel.
Right.
They type with 2 fingers like this, right? They might send you a change order on a piece of paper with a pencil.
Yes.
So like, there definitely needs to be more, balance.
Yeah, and yeah, I think with women, they definitely need a lot more confidence building in this space, and with good intentions, with good men like you who are actually giving them that opportunity to shine, because a lot of times men want it, but with an expectation too. I remember when I first got started, men ask you out on dates or want to give you a job with the exchange of, certain terms. And I'm like, this isn't going to work. And as a woman, it's sad, but especially like young women, you feel like you kind of have to take that opportunity. Otherwise, you're not going to be in the space. And so what I want to showcase is that you don't have to do all of that. You just have to like work on yourself, gain that knowledge, which is going to give you the confidence, and you'll create opportunity for yourself. So yeah, that's my little spiel on women.
So
women in business.
Women in business.
Yeah.
Do you have anything coming up?
Well, as far as real estate, I just had the SB 980 open house in Long Beach. And my goal is to kind of have a couple of those open houses every 2 to 3 months. As I mentioned earlier, I was doing all the ADU meetups, and they're great. I love networking events, but they take a lot of my time and energy, and I feel like it's going to be a lot better to showcase these projects. They're not easy to come around because most homeowners and investors aren't cool with you doing an open house and showcasing their project and having 10 to 20 people come by. But my goal is to do that. So we have about 20 to 25 projects right now. I want to be able to showcase that. So if you guys just go to my website, and really Instagram is kind of where I keep everyone updated. I'll be doing a lot of more ADU open houses and showcasing the projects that we're doing at scale, mainly in the multifamily space. For the ocean healing, I do have my first ocean healing therapy session this weekend. And Elise was supposed to come, so I'll hold her to it for the next one. Yeah. Because I know she needs it and it would help her. Yeah. But yeah, I'm having the first one in Hermosa Beach. Very cool. So when I'm here, I'll be hosting those in Hermosa Beach. And when I'm out in Hollywood Beach in Florida, I'll be doing those out there. Nice. Same with events. And I have a podcast as well, which I need to have you on.
Yeah, I'll be out there.
Yeah.
I'll look forward to I'll be in Florida probably in December. Awesome. So that'll be good. Wrapping it up and looking forward to being on your podcast.
Maybe we'll do one live. We'll just,
I got
a
better idea.
Okay.
We do it at the beach.
Amazing.
Ooh,
that would be awesome.
That's a good
one.
And
December's a great time out in Florida. I really love being out there during that time because it's just too damn cold down here. Now I'm a softie when I come out here, October, November, December. Although right now it's not too bad, I will say. So
great. It was great having you. So definitely look forward to connecting with you again. So thank you guys for tuning in to Building What Matters. Have a great week.
Thank you.